That was all gold, Wendy. We lost all that gold.
I feel very sad about that.
Welcome. You're listening to Nuditea, a podcast where we get naked with our feelings while drinking tea. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Wendy, and on this podcast we talk about food, travel, life, sex, adult things. Today we are talking about our best memories from undergrad, or like a select few of them, because this could go on for a very long time.
You ready for a 7-part episode? No, that's not going to happen.
I picked this topic thinking that we would be able to narrow it down to like one thing. I was very wrong.
Do you know who you podcast with? You give me like one topic, I'll like split it up into 10. I'm very analytical.
I know. I need to be more specific with my podcast topics that I put down on our Google sheet.
Like the most rebellious thing, mainly because I don't have a lot of examples, but I did one.
Yes. So let's start with teas. Mm-hmm. You are drinking
jasmine peony.
And I am drinking an instant matcha from my friend Catherine. Catherine, I know you listen sometimes. Thank you so much for the matcha. It's lovely.
Catherine's very devoted. We love you, Catherine.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to just do a little back and forth fire round. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you go first.
Okay, so most of my memories will come from living with 8 other people in one house, and people are always shocked when I say, like, 8 people. I loved it. I grew up in a big family, though, so it was a good time.
At one point, it was 10 people.
Yeah. You get significant others in there. We could have had a house of 18 or something at one point. Yeah, could you imagine how cheap rent would have been for all of us?
That would have been great.
Anyway.
Our hydro bill, though? Oh. Through the roof.
Yeah, we would have had to get like 6 more fridges.
Yeah.
So we'll start just really fun memories because it was a good select group of people. I'll start with our Secret Santa mornings. Mm-hmm. We started kind of making it a thing. I don't know if I was like, hey guys, let's do some Secret Santa before we all leave. We'll do like a Christmas thing. And since there's so many of us, it really does truly feel like a Christmas morning. And I like a very structured Secret Santa in the sense where we give like a few things we kind of want. And so they at least have something to go off. So we'd make mini lists and we'd post it all like to the group or something. But we kept it secret. Unlike when I'm with my family and our Secret Santa, we literally just tell each other right when we know. Why are we trying to hide? So I just also remember like I kind of wanted to make it a very like kind of fun special Christmas morning thing. So I would get up and I would do breakfast. I think one year, I don't know if every year I did waffles, but one year I made it a very crepes probably the first year, I think. Mm-hmm. I make a pretty decent crepe, I think.
Yeah.
And
you have a great crepe pan.
Yeah, I have a great crepe pan. We did savory. I know that like a lot of our housemates, most of them like savory, but some like sweet. So I tried to do that for our Christmas mornings. One of the years I did a waffle theme. Mm-hmm. So it was like waffles, and then we did cheese waffles, which they were the real winner of the morning. And then we also did like waffle like hash browns. So basically just hash browns and. But boy, did I not read how long those would take. Oh yeah. We had a timing issue, I guess.
The patats always take so long.
And we had 2 waffle irons going. But we made it work. I think we still got, through it all and on time. Mm-hmm. But I just like always just enjoyed the very relaxed pajama mood with them. We had this like tree, this fake tree that we use as a Christmas tree, even though
it was pretty sad.
But we decorated it but without lights, I think. Yeah. And we put our like Christmas presents underneath, and then we would, one person would start, and then you try to guess who was yours. And I think we did it. Most people did a pretty good job. Mm-hmm. I think with their presents, and obviously some of us knew each other more than others. Yeah. It could do like funnier gifts, or like you kind of knew them. So that was just always kind of a fun time. And we always did like a Christmas photo shoot afterwards. Yes. One year we were the manger, like scene. Another year we're like all sprawled up on our stairs, like very cheesy Christmas family photos, which I just always enjoyed. It was always during exam time. Yeah. So this is like a break from the studying. And just kind of, you could take the whole morning and just play. Like one year someone gave someone a, not drone, but like a helicopter tool. Mm-hmm. And we also had like Nerf guns. Somebody bought someone a Nerf gun, so we're trying to shoot the helicopter down. And we probably played board games some mornings. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you were there for one of them, I think, at least, right?
So I'm not huge into receiving gifts. I love gifting people things, especially if it's people I know well. But the Secret Santa's always like low key stressed me out because, like, God forbid I pick someone that I don't know super well, then I'm kind of just like, oh God, what do I do? I'm also really like awkward when I receive gifts.
You kind of are, yes.
Yeah.
But the whole like list thing that we did was in case someone didn't get someone they were necessarily super close with.
That was so helpful. I stand by that. I'm like, every time someone has to buy me a gift, I'm like, let me just tell you within your reasonable price range what I would like.
Yeah.
So then it just like takes all the stress out of it.
We did $25 cap. Did you? Because were you the one who got Galen that 1 year and got in the foam roller? Might have been Julia.
No, I think that was either like Jeff or Julia, right?
Maybe.
I didn't get the foam roller.
Okay.
I think I got you. I think you wanted like
mittens?
a
You got me mittens
and like a mixing bowl or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Nailed
you guys
it.
are still doing Secret Santas to this day, basically, right?
I think we cut the gift giving part, but we still get together. We cut, I think, for the past 2 years, mainly because Christmas just kind of gets expensive for everyone, and it might have actually, I don't remember, because we still, even though we left the house, the year after we still did Secret Santa. And people like did it. We do a decent, I think, job at it. You know, you really try with your person, but we still just try to get together around the holidays, which is nice.
Yeah.
And
It's a good time.
it's just I just always love that morning. Like,
I love
very much was the planner
Christmas
of it.
is
But
such a warm and fuzzy holiday that it's wonderful. Okay, so I'm kind of going in chronological order here. My first best memory from undergrad that I would like to talk about were my drunken nights with one of my roommates. For some reason, we always had these weird times where one other guy who lived in the same building as us, he was in kind of like the same Vic 1 stream as us. Vic 1 was just like the seminar group that everyone was a first year, and some of us are in seminar groups. And he was in like another part of the seminar group, but he knew my roommate, and he would just like come hang out sometimes, but he would also bring alcohol with him. And I've never handled my alcohol well. And in first year undergrad, I really couldn't handle my alcohol well because I was like basically my first year of exposure to drinking. So I just remember all of these just messy AF nights when Minna and I would just be like super, super drunk. And that other guy friend would be like not nearly as drunk, maybe even just completely sober.
Yeah.
And he'd be trying to like talk to us about super deep shit. Like he'd be talking about like fucking communism, philosophy, and like just life and
your drunk
poetry.
brain's like, this isn't the time.
Yeah, and Minna and I are just like laughing our asses off, bouncing off furniture, like throwing things around, brushing our teeth and drooling over ourselves. Like it was such a hot mess time, and I just remember it being so much fun because it was like, I love the drinking experiences when you're just with like a few people that you love hanging out with instead of like being at a party. It's almost kind of like, instead of a house party, it's like a room party. Yeah. Where you're just with like your roommate.
And the one guy who
brought the alcohol. And that's the other thing. We got free alcohol out of it. I feel kind of bad looking back now. Like maybe he wanted like a chill night of just like, you know, chatting about
Did he not learn
things.
After the 5th time?
This only happened maybe like 2, maybe 3 times. Okay. I mean, it was close to like the end of first year, so after that we all moved out. But yeah, no, it was such a strange time for us. We also had so we were in a triple room unit. Oof. And our other roommate, she was never there. She always missed out on these parties because she always had like an assignment due or like an exam coming up, so she always would be at the library, basically across from our dorm. She'd be like a 1-minute walk away, and we would just be like living it up while she was at the library.
Sounds like me in first year. I was very much like, I'm gonna see if I can get through first year without like dipping in that 15%. like the freshman 15 in like marks wise, and I was like, I'm gonna work hard and see if I can handle this. And I did, and I hung out every once in a while, but I was also 2 years older than everyone, and I wasn't necessarily like, woo, freedom, party life. That wasn't necessarily me. So I was in and out, but I wasn't always around.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just a really fun, like, silly time that I had with my roommate and like that one random guy who, like, sorry man, we just drank all your booze and didn't even like talk philosophy with you. I feel bad.
Hit her up again, and she'll drink sips, and she'll have your talk with communism now, I think.
And even then, I will probably just get pretty shit-faced drunk. If it's just constant sips, that's enough to send me over.
Oh, Wendy.
Yes.
Okay.
Next.
Okay. I'll kind of group these. Kind of just board game nights in general. We're just always a fun time. It's a really easy thing to, when you live with 8 other people, to at least get 4 people, 3 people to play. Something I've been lacking in this roommate situation. Although you guys have really wanted to now that I'm moving out. It makes
Suddenly,
so much sense.
I've just turned around and I'm like, ooh, board games? Live it up.
Only took quarantine to really get this to happen.
Yeah. And internet being out.
Yeah. Literally had no internet for 24 hours.
So, I think this is kind of just covering a lot of my undergrad experience. It's not anything specific, but I went to undergrad at U of T, St. George campus, which means that we were right on Chinatown borders. And for, I think, 3 years of my undergrad, I lived off campus, and all 3 years I lived extremely, extremely close to Chinatown. For 2 of the years, I lived on Baldwin Street, which, if you don't know Toronto area super well, Baldwin is like its own little hidden back street that has a bunch of cute little tiny cafes and little restaurants. It's just like a delightful area to live in, and it was so close to Chinatown. I would be grocery shopping with my little like old lady cart every weekend, and I would just have to walk like a few minutes down to Spadina, and everything would be there.
This is why Wendy hates living in Guelph. She was spoiled when she lived in Toronto.
I could take the bus to places, but like, where am I taking the bus to? There are no good Asian grocery stores here. Anyway, so I think part of my favorite aspect of being on that campus for all 4 years is that I had access to so many different types of food, especially all types of Asian food at like all within reach of me. And you know how important food is to me, and it continues to be important to this day. And
your cravings, they're just so random, and you'll just be like, I need this. And so you could do that in Toronto. You're like, I'll go get it. Now you have to kind of make it here.
Yeah, and like in Toronto, I remember I would be craving pho for like, 3 weeks straight. So every week you just pick a new pho place to go to. You didn't even have to be like, oh, I'll just go to like that one place that's in the neighborhood, blah blah blah. Like in Guelph, if I wanted pho, I would probably just like, I would have the one place I would get pho from that I know and trust. In Toronto, it's like, it's all good. Just pick one, try new places, maybe even like explore a new little neighborhood. Like, where's little Vietnam, like figure it out. So I think it just like the world of possibilities was open to me as a foodie. And even now, like Toronto has changed so much, and there's so many new like popular types of foods that are popping up in Chinatown, because the turnover rate is really high. They want to like keep up with the times to whatever the youths are really into.
Right.
So like even now, every time I go back to that area, I'm like a hit of nostalgia plus like new all the stimulus. Yeah. So I just loved that aspect of being on campus when I was in undergrad.
Halloween. I love Halloween time, and there's this point where you love it as a kid and you kind of fall out of it in high school because for some reason it's uncool, or nobody like gives you candy.
Yeah, you're too old to get candy anymore.
But when you get to university, you can throw your own parties, and you can make Halloween kind of this fun thing again because people like to dress up and go all out with certain people. And so,
we buy our own candy.
Yeah, we buy our own candy and hope that no kids show up so that we can eat it.
Oh, I also really love having kids show up.
I did too. No, it was a fun time. We lived in a pretty like family neighborhood, so we got a decent amount, except for our house it does look sketchy compared to the other houses around. And we'd turn on the lights, and we'd do pumpkins almost every year. I think every year we did. So we'd carve our own pumpkins.
I remember there was one year where I saw kids across a street from our house, and they were like kind of looking over because we had our decorations up, our lights were on. I was like waiting outside the door for them to come over to give them candy, and they were like super sketched out, and I had to go out and be like, guys, look, I have candy, which probably sketched them out.
Yeah, stranger danger.
But they came, and it was really lovely.
Yeah, like when kids do stop by, it's really, really cute. We've had them stop by here when we have had candy. I think one year we either forgot to turn on the light or you weren't here. I don't know if you were here, and so I had to leave to go do my stage managing.
I bought candy, but I think we might have had to just like leave it out for people.
Maybe.
Or maybe we just totally forgot.
I think we forgot. I think I was eating the candy when I got home after my thing. So... It's fine. But it started, Halloween started to become fun again, not because of the whole alcohol aspect. So we had our kegger, which was like a stressful party for me, but we got through it. And then, but the real party that I like really look forward to was Halloween. Because, you know, we'd invite other people. It wasn't just the 9 of us. We'd invite closer friends. And we always, at one point we decided, hey, let's do a whole house group costume. One year we had our house meetings, and we talked about this at one point, and it was just fun brainstorming the different things we could do, and then we settled on Disney villains, and I think everyone really
that was the first year that I was at the house.
This is third year then, I think it was our my third year of university. And everyone like really brought it, and they cared.
Listen, everyone in our household, or I would say like almost everyone in the household, they were super dedicated to the craft. You know, like we did not half-ass our Halloween costumes. Once we decided on a theme, you commit to the theme and your costume, and you try your goddamn best.
I feel like Halloween we didn't half-ass anything. The pumpkins, like people, like we tried to outdo each other a bit. Like whose is more complicated and better. We didn't ever really have an actual competition. Although we would ask trick-or-treaters, which one's better? Which one do you like? So we kind of keep a tally that way.
I forgot about that. That's so true.
But yeah, we just like having people over, and I think like people enjoyed our Halloween parties. We didn't really get bylaw called on our Halloween parties because they were small enough, or it
was just like our house plus significant others if they wanted to come. So
yeah, we had like friends from university come too. But so that year we did Disney villains. Everyone like really got creative. Julia was like the Stampede from Lion King.
It was excellent.
So good. Wendy did my makeup. I had the best eyebrows I will ever have in my
Kim
whole
was
life.
Maleficent. I just had the best time with all those like bony contours.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And then the following year, again, solid party, I think. And we decided to be like Mario Kart characters, specifically the battle mode, because we went to go get balloons from like the dollar store down the street. And, were you there when we had to go get these? Okay.
No. So I didn't participate in Halloween that year, I don't think. I remember I helped you make the costume, but I didn't end up going.
That's right. Wendy's basically my
seamstress.
She's my Halloween mom who makes my costumes. Although Maleficent I did about 3/4, and you had to help me with something, and then the makeup. But I remember we had to go get helium in these balloons, and so there was a dollar store right by No Frills where we could do that. So we took Ben's car, and 3 of us went to go do it. And we had because there's 9 of us, so that was 27 balloons. And we all had different colors. And we had to get them back, and all I remember is like Ben, you know what, this might have been my car because I think I was driving. So because Ben and Ashley were basically like flattened underneath the balloons, and it was just a very, very funny scene, and like it's too good. So, you know, we got those. And Halloween, even though we like left that house, has still been a really fun get together that we try to do, and we've been hosting it here at this house. That'll have to change, but yeah, we still we don't do a whole like group costumes because it's really only us that are here. But we did a we do costume contests. There's not really anything super to win. The first year we did like LCBO gift card, but I think we just like kind of bring it. We've kind of done costumes together for a couple of years. We've had 3 Halloween parties here, haven't we?
I think so.
There was one with our old roommate, and then 2 years
and then
here,
2 here, man.
And Wendy's done my makeup basically for all of them.
It's been great.
So yeah, Halloween's just like always a fun time, and I get really like psyched for it, and I
just love seeing everyone in their costumes every year, because like everyone just really brings it, and I love seeing the dedication.
Yeah, it's so good. And yeah, like significant others, new significant others have come, and they've like been either forced to bring it or they have brought it, and
have just been like, whoa, these people really don't mess around.
Exactly. So,
and I will say Halloween, our Halloween parties is basically the only time of year that I allow myself to drink heavily.
Yeah.
Because like usually when I drink, every time I drink, I basically get tipsy because I just get tipsy really easily. But Halloween is a year where I'm like drunk. And it's just a lot of fun because it's like people that I know and love and trust, and like it's in our own house. So
really easy to pass out in your room. Yeah. I'm usually the one who stays up to make sure that our guests are taken care of, but it's fine. It's the sword I fall on. Yeah. So those are just Halloweens. They've just been a really good time these past number of years, and like a good way for us to still get together. So that, yeah.
And then I guess I'm just gonna cut it down to like the last one that I want to talk about, because this is specific to my last year of undergrad, and I was just trying really hard that year to like get really awesome grades. I was also taking courses that I was very emotionally invested in. I was very interested in these topics. So my friend Jeannie and I, who was also living with me at the time, we would always, I think it was like every single weekend or something, we would always go to the largest library on campus, which was Robarts Library. They just have like a ton of different workspaces available for students. So every single weekend we would always go there and do our studying. I think it was also through the summer. So maybe, I don't know when this was actually. I don't know if it was last year or not. Whatever, we went to Robarts Library, and we always like went super early, got all settled in, and we would always like start studying. But that was back in the day when I still had like a massive appetite and would be able to eat so much food. So every single time we would go, it would be like 2 hours in, and I would be starving, and it would be like I would bring snacks and blow through them in the first hour, and then I would just be so hungry.
And you get hangry.
Yeah, by lunchtime I could just like not handle it anymore. And then Jeannie, she also like loves food and loves to eat, and she also gets hungry fairly fast, but she's a lot better at dealing with hunger than I am. Like, I think if she needed to study more, she would just sit there and like work through it. Whereas I'm like, I have to eat now or else I will be useless as a human for the rest of today.
Yeah.
So just every single time we tried to do this, it would always end up being, we'd study for a few hours in the morning at Robarts. I would get super hungry. And then because Robarts Library was not that far of a walk from Koreatown on Bloor in Toronto, we'd just be like, I guess we're gonna go for Korean food. And then we would just go for Korean food, and then usually we never went back to the library after because we'd be in a food coma.
So Wendy's useless if she has no food in her, and she's also useless if she has too much food in her.
You know, the food coma hits, and
equilibrium.
You can't fight it. Yeah, so that was, and it just happened so many times.
Never learned.
And Jeannie would like try to pack me more snacks, or like tell me to pack more snacks so I would last longer. It never worked. I was always so hungry. I don't know. My theory is Robarts was always super cold because of the air conditioning. So my body was like using up a lot of energy to produce body heat, that I was just getting really hungry really fast.
Robarts, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my last favorite like memory, or like a chunk of memories from undergrad.
Yeah, those are good memories where you just dish out on studying, and not that I did that often, but yeah, just like go hang out. And
those 2 hours that we did study, though, productive. Okay,
that's good. Just the 2 hours, and then the 8 hours of the rest of the day, just food coma. I like that.
Sleep.
My next one's kind of academic related. It would have to be like third or fourth year, like anatomy lab, because anatomy was just a very, I think, interesting course for me. It's also kind of stuff that's really fun to kind of quiz yourself on and study, but with the anatomy lab you are dissecting, and that's like a really cool experience that not everyone really gets to ever do, and not everyone wants to, because I understand the squeamish aspect of it. I had no problem with it. I was worried I would, but nothing. And that's where I met, in third year, second semester, I met a really good friend. And we hit it off right away because she was new to our anatomy like group because she got like a different time slot. And we look back at it and we're like, oh, why didn't we? I wish we'd like met earlier or stuff like that. But you can't control that. Like campus is big and all that stuff. So yeah, we just had a really good time. And I really liked the lab technicians. Like they're really good people. And I remember like our roommate Val, she was also in biomedical sciences. So we'd be studying together a little bit. And that's where like we became friends with Brandon. Who's her boyfriend, and I don't know if I have more to say on that. I think it's just a group of people where when you're in anatomy, everyone knows like how much information you're learning, but it's a fun way, and you're all in it together, and you talk about the bell ringer quizzes. What do they call them?
Yeah, bell ringers.
Yeah.
Oh.
And like you discuss it afterwards, and you'd feel like so good if you like got perfect on it. And I think the professor, like one professor in particular, was really, really good. The second semester guy, he was okay. I also ended up being able to teach in the anatomy lab after my last year of university for a little bit. And the people that I ended up teaching with were part of the fourth year anatomy course. And I knew them a bit, but I was not in a group with them. But through the brief bit of summer that I got to work with them, like we hung out, we had a really good time, we celebrated a couple birthdays. I think anatomy has just brought like a lot of joy and a lot of good memories, even though it's study heavy course.
Yeah.
But,
a lot of heavy memorization. But
I think like what sets it apart is it's not just textbook studying, it's you're in a lab and you're with other people and you're like, it's so hands-on.
Yeah. And
yeah, you just like meet really cool people with similar interests because we're obviously all down to like look at cadavers and study. And yeah, so I just like have really fond memories. That's when like I knew like biomedical sciences was like a good program to like have gone into, because third year like really picked up and you felt closer with a lot of your program people. While I'm like friends with like non-program people, obviously, and that's kind of where I started because it was like a mix of science courses kind of in our tower, but this just allowed me to kind of get to know more of the biomedical people. Yeah.
I just had one quick thing to add to that. I really loved it when you were in your anatomy course and you invited your family, and I was a part of the group. I forget, I think was Ben there? I can't remember who else was there.
I think Ben's mom. I invited
Oh,
Ben's
really?
Mom. Yeah,
oh, dang. Yeah, so you were able to invite a whole bunch of us. Was it just like an open
It's
house
like a family
day?
And friends thing. Yeah, it's like an open house kind of. Yeah.
So we got to go into your lab and you took us around and looked at different cadavers, and like you were able to like quiz us a few things and like show us what you guys did and like, you know, cool things to look for. It was a lot of fun.
Did you remember having a favorite part or body section, I guess?
I really like the pelvic region, like the reproductive stuff and like your kidneys and ovaries and like the weird things that look like other things that are going on.
Right.
Like the urethra looks like a nerve to me sometimes. It was wild. It was a lot of fun because we didn't have that kind of experience at U of T because it'd be like way too many cadavers would be needed.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
save that for med school people. But yeah,
Which
so
makes sense.
it was awesome. Also, I wasn't in that kind of program either, so makes sense. Okay, cool.
Those have been our memories. Thanks for listening to this episode of Nudity. If you want to listen to more episodes, you can listen to them anywhere you listen to your podcast. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram, all at Nudity Podcast. Did I do that wrong? What do you...
Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories.
Even though they weren't so... I thought it was good. Bad? Big?
I think the song is talking about like just like an ex or something.
Maybe. All our ex friends.
I don't even remember what that song is. It just came to mind.
Two people will be so disappointed that I don't know the Panic at the Disco lyrics to
guys.
that. But guess what? I don't know lyrics to anything. That's why I'm useless during next 5 words and anytime we do trivia. So
yeah. Okay. I didn't even listen to the outro that you did, so I'm just gonna assume that it was good. Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye.